Love them enough to make sure they're buckled up in the back seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
KAKU.
I just feel awkward silences with my laughter.
88.5 FM.
You are listening to Talkative Radio on KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui.
This is Talkative Radio, the show where nothing is off limits and no topic is safe. From pop culture chaos and celebrity nonsense to marriage, motherhood, menopause, and everything in between. This is real life, loud, unfiltered, funny, and sharp as hell. Hosted by Allie B, sketch comedy writer, media troublemaker, coffee shop owner, businesswoman, and a woman who does not tiptoe around the truth. You've seen her on TLC, TMZ, and the Gypsy Rose doc series. Now she's bringing the heat to the mic. No scripts, no safe opinions, no fake smiles. Just real conversations, wild laughs, and the kind of honesty most people are too scared to say out loud. This is Talkative Radio. And now your host, Allie B.
And it's Thursday. We're back in the studio for another glorious day of Talkative Radio. I am your host, Allie B, and we have such an exciting show planned for you today. I have a co-host in the studio with me, Carly B, all the way from the AZ, honey. So we're going to be talking about self-awareness, mindfulness, and all kinds of other wonderful things. Thank you for tuning in to 88.5 FM Radio, the voice of Maui. That's KAKU. We love doing Talkative Radio down here in Central Maui at 333 Dairy Road. And if you're ever interested in promoting something, come on down and see me. And if you want to do radio, you can do that too. You can also come down and see Tony for that, because I would be zero help in that department. Oh my goodness. We have such a great show, Carly. Thank you for coming on with me today.
Hi. Hi.
Can I hear you? I don't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. You don't hear me?
Oh, why don't I hear her?
Do you not hear me?
I don't hear her at all. Do you hear her?
I'm on. I'm here.
Hold on, my amazing studio audience.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
There you go. Say hi, Carly.
Hi. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I hear you now. Yay. Okay. So we have such a wonderful show prepared for you guys today. We're going to be talking all about self-awareness and mindfulness. It's something that's really kind of been on the forefront of my brain over the last few months. And so I thought it would be a good day to talk about it. And of course, like we always do every week on our show, we're going to do a little celebrity news. It's all time for entertainment, weird news, and the roundup on Talkative Radio. Our first story of the week. Have you guys seen the docuseries The Crash yet? If you haven't, it's a doozy. It is about a young teenage girl. This is a true story. Apparently, she had an accident, and two of the boys that she was in the car with passed away. The new Crash documentary everyone has been talking about is creating major reactions online. Viewers are describing the documentary as emotional, unsettling, and incredibly detailed. The film reportedly walks audiences through the timeline leading up to the disaster, including communication failures, mechanism concerns, and decisions made in moments before the tragedy unfolded. What's really getting people talking about this docuseries is focusing less on human error and pressure, and yeah. Where did I go with that one?
It's okay. I found that it was, I saw just the preview of the one for Netflix, and because I didn't really know much about this story. And I have to say, it was daunting, no breaking.
It was daunting, no breaking. There are three documentaries about this story. There's one on Hulu, there's one on Netflix, and there's one somewhere else. They all give slightly different perspectives. I'm not sure if anyone tuned into TMZ today, but the father was on TMZ this morning, and he was making zero sense. I don't know, like these parents, they don't give their kids like any structure. Like the dad is totally fine with her being a party girl. It was just totally insane. So if you have not watched
I saw like like this was a teenager that was like smoking cigars and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, she
and
was
wasn't that part of the interview, him saying that it was okay that she was doing
he
that?
was saying that she partaked in marijuana. Everybody partakes in marijuana. Blase,
Yeah.
blase. It was incredible. Meanwhile, late night television is getting a little messy behind the scenes. According to the Huffington Post report, Jimmy Kimmel is publicly defending Stephen Colbert while criticizing CBS executives over growing tensions involving the network's leadership and creativity control in late night television. Kimmel reportedly urged viewers to pay closer attention to how networks operate behind closed doors, suggesting that corporate interests may be affecting what hosts can and cannot say on television. Fans online quickly rallied behind him, both Kimmel and Colbert, with many viewers expressing frustration that late night comedy is becoming increasingly shaped by network politics and advertiser concerns. I believe that that's true. I know that from writing and trying to write like professionally, that a lot of these networks are definitely politically charged. So that is a doozy.
1,000%.
Yeah. Oh, also, speaking of celebrities fighting in public, Chelsea Handler has made headlines this week criticizing comedians Shane Gillis and Tony Hinchcliffe over controversial jokes made during the Kevin Hart roast last week. I'm not sure if any of my viewers tuned in for that. It was good. It fell flat a little bit for me. I think the problem is for me that everybody is so hypersensitive. Comedy, that's what makes comedy funny. It's taking people to the edge and teetering over what's okay and what's not. That's true comedy. And roasts have been notorious for the best, most hardcore jokes in the industry. And so Chelsea Handler coming and kind of piping off about it. I mean, Cheryl Underwood was there and a lot of the jokes were based on her. And apparently Cheryl's husband had taken his life like 30 years ago, and they kept talking about that, which I did think that was a little uncomfortable. I wasn't really thrilled with that. Let's see. In weird news, a drunk deer is causing problems in France. Now for the weird, apparently the police in France are warning drivers to watch out for deer acting intoxicated after eating fermented fruit that had fallen from trees in the region. I could not imagine what
That's so funny.
Like. Officials say several deer were seen stumbling near roadways, wandering unpredictably, and apparently disoriented. Authorities joked online, not all road users are sober. Experts say fermented fruit naturally produces alcohol during decomposition, meaning animals can unintentionally become intoxicated if they consume it. I had no idea. Oh my God, last story of the week. There was a slap fight on the Carnival cruise. You know, I've been watching all these cruises because like the Hansa virus and all. And I'm always like, as soon as I think maybe I would take a cruise, something terrible happens, right? So 2 women were reportedly facing federal citations after a slap fight broke out on board a Carnival cruise ship returning from the Bahamas. According to the report, says the tension started to build while passengers were standing in line to settle onboard cruise accounts before docking. Witnesses say one woman allegedly came up to the other woman and said, "Hey, you know, I think you're in the wrong line." And that woman didn't like that. And so she touched her husband's shoulder. "Sir, I think you're in the wrong line." And that was what took this woman overboard. And so they started slapping each other. Now they have been banned from Carnival cruises. And I don't know. Like, people are so aggressive these days. I just can't keep up with it. Let's see.
Hey, I've been on a couple cruises, and that's extreme, even at the payout line.
I know, right? It's the drink package, you guys. Don't get the drink package. Okay, last of the news for the week. Today is National Be a Millionaire Day. So if you live here on Maui, that would be a good thing that we could become in order to pay for gas and housing here on the island.
I wish.
And then it's a National Rescue Dog Day, and it's National Bee Day. So there's a lot of national days today. They're good. It's not like Hot Dog Day or Donut Day.
Wait. Allie, it's National Bee Day, like Carly B and Allie B.
It is. That's right. I love that for us.
Throwing a Cardi B too. Let's go.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's just get to it. You guys, we're talking about self-awareness and meaningfulness in this episode. I feel like it's come to the forefront of
my dear.
Huh?
Mindfulness.
mindful. What did I say? Meaningless? Meaningful.
Yeah.
You see what I'm doing today?
Meaningfulness.
Oh gosh, you guys, it's Thursday. Hey, by the way,
It's okay.
if you are tuning in on your drive home today, be careful because it's very windy on the highway, on P. Ilani Highway. It was super windy this afternoon. Thank you for tuning into 88.5 FM radio, the voice of Maui. We are talking about self-awareness and mindfulness on this episode, not meaningless, mindfulness, because we don't want you to be meaningless. Self-awareness is the ability to take an honest look at your life without any attachment to being right or wrong. What do you think about that?
Well, so self-awareness is something that takes time, first of all.
Absolutely.
And the mindfulness is the way that you can gain self-awareness without actually being critical of yourself or being hypercritical of yourself. Because I feel like many of us are that way, right?
Absolutely. Self-awareness is a strange thing because only one day you wake up realizing that the problem wasn't not always essentially somebody else, but sometimes it's your reactions, your emotions, and your timing that are that inability to slow down before speaking, which I am totally guilty of all the time. Do you see how I stumble over myself even on live radio every now and again, and mostly in every conversation ever? Yesterday, my husband was irritating me really bad, and I had to practice self-awareness, and I had to step away from the situation because I don't want to be ratchet in my late 40s any longer. So I thought that it would be really interesting if we talked about the power of self-awareness, and we talk about, things that people do that show a lack of self-awareness. So let's just get right into it, and then we'll go back and forth on this list. Also, if you haven't checked out the article, there's a great magazine called Greater Good Magazine, and they did a whole article on how self-awareness makes every habit easier. I think it's a great article, and that's what kind of triggered this episode. And feel free to leave us comments on www.talkativeradio.com, and we're going to continue this conversation in multiple episodes because I feel like it is one that we could really stretch because everybody needs a little lesson on how to be a little bit more self-aware. So 15 ways to become more self-aware. We'll start with the first one. Pause before reacting. What do you think about that? Are you a pauser before reacting, or are you a react right away person?
It depends on the situation, honestly.
Okay, so
if it's something I haven't encountered before, if it's like if it happens to be a situation that sparks an emotion in me,
right?
That or maybe a past experience in me, it might take me a minute to react appropriately, I think, or maybe I'll take a breath because I know that that is a hard subject to do, and try to tamper down maybe whatever increased emotion that I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I don't feel like I always practiced this when I was younger. I was a clapback queen, and now I've learned through business and personal experience that sometimes taking a minute to really hone in your thoughts before saying something will be better for you in the long run. Also, the same with text messaging. Like people will text message you something, and you don't know their emotion in the text message because it's text, and so you can take it wrong.
You can't hear the tone.
Yeah, and then you start texting them back and you're like, oh God, that sounds really terrible, So pausing before reacting, I feel like is very important. I think we can all practice this every single day. Pause before reaction. Pause before reaction with your children is a number one for me. And we've talked about this a lot on the show in the past. I'm a mom of 3, and sometimes you have to have no reaction in order to have these moments where your kids continue to speak to you, right? So it's like no physical reaction, no verbal reaction, just listening and putting it in the back of your head and then sitting on it and not necessarily saying something right away. And then your kids will keep talking to you. And I feel like that's really important because you say one wrong thing and then your kids are like, whoop. Okay, number 2. This is also
a good place to practice 2 like mindfulness things, which are the pillars of mindfulness, which is acceptance and attention.
Boom.
So accepting your feelings and then paying attention to them as well. Why did I feel this way? Why did this, why did this make me react that way? And that's going to be applied to probably any one of these questions.
Right.
So, yeah.
I agree with that. Okay, so number 2, journal your thoughts and feelings. I feel like for Carly and me, we're both writers, so I think it's easy for us to journal. I know you, Carly, you write every day, right? Do you do any free writing practices?
I don't write every day, but I write most days.
Yeah.
And I don't do a whole lot of free writing anymore. But if I'm emotional, it's a great way for me, or if I'm not understanding things that are happening in my life or the world, it's a great way for me to process
Right.
or start the process of what I'm thinking
Yeah, I
without any
agree.
judgment towards myself or towards what I'm feeling.
Yeah, I feel like it's really good to jot down your feelings every day. And I feel like
Yeah.
working with Second City, we're really trained to do this free writing every day where we just put the pen to the pad and we just write whatever is
Yeah.
in our brain. And it conditions you to be able to just write quicker and faster. And I think that's
Yeah.
great. But journaling your feelings is really good. But I've known people in the past that will like write a letter and then mail it to you. And then their feelings are done because they wrote it in a letter and mailed it to you. But then
Ooh.
you have to receive the letter and then have a reaction to it. And that always stresses me out. I don't like that very much.
That's a little bit of a very, that's like a one-sided way to have a conversation.
Oh, 100%. I know my
Like
mother-in-law
you
used to do
you
that to
made
me.
your point and what you believe in the letter, and then you sent it and you feel fine now.
Yeah.
But now the person who gets it sometimes has no idea where some of these feelings come from.
Emotional
And then
turmoil.
yeah, and then you can't there's no way for you to really react, right?
That's very true.
Or if you do react, you're like, what?
Yeah, I know, right? That's so true. So
Right?
listen, just journal. You don't have to tell us every time that we do something to upset you. I used to work with this girl, okay, and like I would leave. I'm sure she's gonna see this on Channel 55. Love you, Reg. But Reg used to tell me all the time, like I would leave work and then she would call me and she'd be like, "Girl, you know what you did to irritate me today?" And I'd be like, what? Like, why didn't you just tell me? So, like, I feel like just writing down your thoughts and just throwing them away. And then only reacting to people's behavior when it's necessary, right? Okay, number 3, ask trusted friends for honest feedback. I don't feel like all friends are very trustworthy in this department because you know how
No.
you have those one friends that'll be like, yeah, you look cute, do it, you know? Like I was at a party this weekend with my best friend and she ate something and had something on her tooth. And no one would, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, you have something right here. Like we're taking pictures.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, thank you. Because everyone else would have just let her walk around like that. So true
And that's-
friendship is honest, positive feedback. And not always positive feedback, just feedback. But you need it from someone that you trust, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like if you're a friend and you're not telling someone, they have put toilet paper stuck to their foot or, a leaf in their hair or their makeup's messed up or whatever, you're not really being a friend. Like
I know.
take a second, don't blurt it out in front of other people.
Yeah.
That's a mistake. But
Yeah.
like take them to the side or like text them, be like, "Hey, you have something." And then be like, "Look at your phone."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that
Like,
a lot
that's the
with my
best way
best
to do
friend.
that.
My best friend Alicia, there's so many times where I'm just like, what do you think about this? Like, am I reacting right or wrong? And she's always usually a level-headed person. So it's always good to have like a couple good level-headed friends. And sometimes you're not going to like their feedback or what they have to say, but you should listen to it because a real friend
Yeah.
will tell you what she feels. And I think that that's really important. Okay, notice
Like those
reoccurring-
pants don't make your butt look great.
That's great. Okay, so number 4, notice reoccurring emotional triggers. Oh, this is important. I had an experience recently where I triggered someone and didn't realize that I was doing that at first. So I feel like you being around certain people, you have to know those triggers and their type of personality to know how far you can go, especially when you're kind of like a jokey person like me. People can take that pretty
Yeah.
seriously. So I think noticing reoccurring emotional triggers. Okay, number 5, practice mindfulness or meditation. Do you meditate, Carly?
I do.
Do you
I do
really?
a lot.
Really?
Yeah,
I have
there's a
hard
lot of
time.
there's a lot. Well, okay, so Allie, there's
Okay.
a lot of different kinds of meditation out there.
Okay.
And I think so many people are just used to the like cross your legs and try and focus all your might on not thinking about anything, but that's not really how it works.
Yeah.
And there's a meditation that's guided where they tell you, one that really helped me, especially with my insomnia, was one that just told me it was okay to sleep. Like, this is your time for you. Relax. This is your time. Take it. I'm glad you're doing this. Like, this is a good thing, you know, and it was kind of like that and had a little music in the background. And there's a bunch of free, wonderful apps out there as well. I use Insight Timer.
I have a hard time, like,
love it.
I have a hard time slowing my brain down enough.
I think that's pretty normal, though.
Yeah.
That's really normal in the society that we live in, though.
Yeah. I got hypnotized a couple years ago, and that was the deepest I went into meditation, or what I felt like meditation. And I loved it. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. So I think meditating, a lot of people do that here on Maui too. Meditating is very big here. Self-awareness is very big here. Sound baths are also totally big here.
I do like a sound bath. A sound bath, it'll give me like tingles and things, and I'm like, okay.
I went to a sound bath recently.
Live.
My friends invited me to a sound bath, and I'm like, who invites the deaf girl to a sound bath? Like, seriously, guys? We could have had drinks. Like, I was like, this week, no personal sense to me. Okay, number 6.
Oh, I love that.
Take responsibility for your actions. Ooh, girl, you out there listening right now, take accountability for your actions. It's just like that documentary we're talking about with this girl who had this accident. Her parents don't want to take accountability for raising her the way they did. So I think it's really important, and it is very much a part of the growing process, is being aware when you make a mistake. And so, like, for me, being perimenopausal over the last couple of years, I lost my dad and my father-in-law on the same day. My mom got cancer last year. So many things that I was going through that made me unstable and probably a lot to deal with. And then as I'm coming out of that, I'm like, oh gosh, that was a lot. And so I've been personally going around to all my friends and just pulling them aside and being like, thank you so much for sticking with me.
Yeah,
because
I think that's really cool that you did that. Like, you're going around and being like, thank you for loving me and being with me during this insanely difficult time. Like, I was not myself.
Yeah,
and you know that I wasn't myself.
Yeah, and I think my friends appreciated it, and I think it's also self-growth, realizing that I'm standing on the other side of that and going, that's how I looked, and that was a lot, and I'm sure that was a lot for the people around me. So taking accountability for your actions. Okay, how about listen more than you speak? Oh, always had a problem with this when I was a kid. My grandpa used to say to me, breathe through your nose, not through your mouth.
Oh,
yeah. So listening more and listen more than you speak. Sometimes you have to listen and absorb what the person is saying, and you shouldn't be so quick to just reply so quick. Do you feel that way? You interact with a lot of people. Carly, one of the things that I love about her is she has a great social media following, and she does these lives every day, and she has all these, like, hundreds of people that are coming into her lives, and she's very good at being able to speak, but also listening to the comments and interacting with the people. And I don't have such a good process with that.
Hey, I'm going to bring you on. I'll teach you how it works.
Okay. Number 8, identify your strengths and weaknesses. Identify your strengths and weaknesses. I think all of us need to do that all the time. Like, strengths, I'm very good at being a wife. Weaknesses, I would be a terrible pharmacist. You would probably pass away if I was counting your pills. Okay, number 9, observe your self-talk. Observe your self-talk. Observe your self-talk. Like, well, what does that mean? Like, so I'm just supposed to listen to my brain telling me all this stuff and then go, what does that mean?
Let me help you with this one.
Okay.
Can I help you with this one?
Please do.
Self-talk. Self-talk are the things that we say to ourselves in our head. A lot of times they can also be like unwanted or unneeded thoughts. And these will come and go. And sometimes they can be worse and be very critical of yourself. And so that is something where you realize, okay, that's not really what I think about myself. I don't really think that I'm a waste of space, right?
Yeah.
I don't really think that, I'm always going to be a failure. But my brain keeps telling me I will be. Noticing that that's something that's not actually true is good to, like, let that. And that's a hard thing to do sometimes, though, because our brain loves to trick us.
Yeah, it's like the angel and the devil on your shoulder. type of situation, you know? Half of you's telling you to do the right thing and the other half is like, no, girl.
And
just
remember,
do it.
your devil side, to use your analogy, your devil side is made up of a lot more than what you really think about yourself. It's what society puts in your head. It's what the rest of the people around you tell you that maybe you need to be. Maybe that's not really you. Maybe that's not really what you want. And that's all based on what is good for you, right?
Yeah, like I read this article recently and they were talking about like the valleys of your brain and how like when you have a certain thought process,
The neural
it creates
pathways.
those neural pathways. And when
Yeah.
you refrain from saying those negative things to yourself, that it heals that part of the brain and then you can retrain your brain to be a more positive thinker. So I think that that's true. We have to stop telling ourselves negativity and start telling ourselves more positivity about ourselves. So I'll start and I'll say, I am a great friend and I'm a great friend and I'm fun to be around.
It's a lot easier. Okay, it's a lot easier when you do this by yourself. Okay, because then you're not as like, oh, I shouldn't say this about myself out loud. Like there are certain things where sometimes we're like, oh, that feels a certain way and I don't want to feel it. But I highly recommend talking to yourself in the mirror, actually. It's something that I do
That's a great tip.
Often to help and even making eye contact with my own self. That's if you have trouble with that kind of thing as well, try that.
That's such a good tip. Really looking at yourself in the mirror and being comfortable with that. And
it's hard though. It can be.
It can. Okay, so number 10, reflect on how your words affect others. Oh, this one is also big for me too, especially being in public and being a business owner. And like I always tell my staff, owning a coffee shop, we're the first thing that people see in the morning. We're their first experience. And
your wake up.
Yeah, you know, and we're what's going to set your day in a good tone or a bad tone, that first experience of the day. So learning when to use your words correctly and when to just refrain, I feel like has been a big process for me to learn, but I'm learning it. You know, we're learning every single day. So reflect on how your words affect others and make sure that you're speaking a lot more positivity than negativity. Number 11, set aside quiet time each day. I do this every day too. I don't know about you, Carly, but I don't watch TV during the day. I like a nice quiet space. I like to walk in the morning by the beach and kind of like reflect and just kind of take a little quiet time. I'm learning how to do that. I didn't always do that though in my younger years. What do you do? Do you take walks or give yourself time like that?
Oh, I do, but in a bit of a different way.
Okay.
So for me, it's really hot here. It's Arizona.
Arizona's a desert.
So I wish that I could, stroll on the beach. I did grow up in California, and although I was a bit away from the beach, it is one of my favorite places to be. Although I'm not a fan of the sand, I like to be there at night, though.
Yeah, that's true. Would you have a park nearby you?
We have like a little. I wish I had a better park near us. But what I do is I will like if I'm driving and the sounds are too much, or if I'm going out, I won't put any sounds in my car. Like I will just sit and think. In my house also, I do have quiet time where like I'm reading or I'm writing. And that's usually mine.
I love that. Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Tune in right after this break, and we're going to continue the conversation about self-awareness.
Running for a public office this election? Table sponsorships are now open for the 54th Kupuna Aloha Luncheon, scheduled for Saturday, July 25th at the Grand Wailea, hosted by the Maui County Senior Planning and Coordinating Council and Maui Economic Opportunity. The event brings together more than 400 kupuna and offers candidates a chance to connect directly with seniors. A total of 40 tables are available on a first-come, first-served basis. June 19th is the deadline to reserve tables and submit your payment.
Hi, Hi, this is Steve Summers. Join me Sunday mornings from 1 to 2 a.m. with a replay Sunday mornings from 10 till 11 for the Oldies Time Machine. It's familiar oldies from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, plus some of those rare tracks you won't hear on any other radio program. Right here on KAKU 88.5, the voice of Maui.
The County of Maui Department of Liquor Control will begin accepting license renewal applications on April 1st. No foolin'. Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Renewal applications must be received with all required documents by June 15th. If you have questions, contact the Department of Liquor Control at 808-243-7777.
Netflix Fringe Fest is now accepting short film submissions for its late night underground showcase happening June 20th from 10 p.m. till midnight at the Iao Theater during the inaugural Wailuku Film Festival. Organizers say the event will celebrate the bizarre, the bold, and the beautifully unhinged, with experimental short films 10 minutes or less in length. Filmmakers can submit entries now through May 22nd at Film Freeway, with an extended deadline of June 11th and official selections announced June 12th.
You're locked into 88.5 FM radio, the voice of Maui. I am your host, Allie B. You're listening to Talkative Radio, where we stay bold, we stay curious, and most importantly, we get talkative. We are talking with Carly B in Arizona today. She's my co-host for the day, and I'm super excited to have her. She's a beacon of information, girl, and I know that you're going to love her just as much as I do. Today, we've been talking about self-awareness and mindfulness, and we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about, we're going to take some of your questions. We're going to talk about mindfulness, but we talked before the commercial break about some ways that you can be a little bit more self-aware. But Carly, let's talk about 10 things that people do. Well, not 10 things. Some things that people do that show a lack of self-awareness, right? Because I'm sure that there's so many. I mean, the list could go on and on and on. Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Okay, so number one, let's think about, what would be the first thing that someone could do if they were had a lack of self-awareness? How about interrupting constantly? Interrupting constantly, I feel like, is a lack of self-awareness. What do you think about that? Do you have anyone in your life that does that besides me?
Allie. No. You know, I grew up with people like that, and I know that I have sometimes felt like I've done that before because I get so interested in the conversation that sometimes I feel like I'm like dropping in.
Yeah.
But there are people who will one-up you in a conversation.
The one-upper.
You know what I'm talking about.
I
know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a complete lack of self-awareness. Instead of like sharing a story or like, hey, I understand that this is similar to something maybe I've been through, because it continues the conversation, right? Yeah. It allows them to expand on their feelings instead of just shutting it down and being like, hey, this is this and this.
Yeah,
and
you're
then
so
that's
right.
It.
The one-upper.
Yeah.
I met a one-upper recently, and he was like,
yeah.
How long have you been in business doing air conditioning? My husband's like, about 30 years. He's like, yep, I've been in business 37. You know, I mean, he was like every aspect of the conversation. It was like, okay, we got it. You are the GOAT here in this conversation. Making everyone, every conversation about themselves, every topic, someone circles back to their own story and feelings or their opinion. I don't feel like that's terribly wrong. I feel like that's kind of how you build a connection with people, right? I mean, I don't know, my perspective.
But I think that what they're talking about is the way this person maybe did it. Like the one-upping, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
What about blaming everyone else for their problems? If we don't have 47 people in our lives that blame everybody else for their problems, and I don't want to out some of my girlfriends, okay, but you're on the list, girl, okay?
But like, I think so many of us sometimes get into a little bit of that habit as well. And then a lot of us are like, oh, well, I shouldn't do that. Because there comes to a point where, like, I know I've done a little blaming before of other people, especially my family, which, you know, my family is not fantastic. And sometimes getting out of that is the way that you figure out maybe you were doing too much blame.
That's true. Me even saying like, "Hey, I'm sorry for my behavior. I was in menopause and my hormones were off." That could be that too. I should just say, "Hey, I'm really sorry I acted like a jerk."
That way, but it could be skewed that way. But the way you did it was, I appreciate you for accepting me.
Yeah,
basically. There's a way that you can do it. You know, I think self-awareness can be difficult.
It can be difficult.
It's not an easy thing. So
what are your thoughts about mindfulness? What are things that you do to be more mindful?
So let me just basically say this very quickly. So mindfulness is the practice of anchoring your full attention to the present moment. So observing yourself and what you may need through thoughts and physical sensation. So look at yourself and then observe without judgment as like you're a passerby.
That's so deep.
Thank you. I wanted to make sure I got a little bit of a clear thing. The two biggest pillars are attention and acceptance. So paying attention, and that's one of the reasons why mindfulness really meshes with meditation. Because while you are sitting there and trying to, if you're doing basic meditation, trying to, be quiet and regulate your thoughts, you are going to let them pass by as they happen. You're not trying to make them go away completely, but you're recognizing that it's a thought of yours, and you don't necessarily have to be active on it. It's just a thought.
Wow. That's really true. I have to be more mindful all the time. I feel like we have to practice that in so many aspects of our daily life, in every interaction with people, just being more mindful of them and what they're going through. Let's take some viewer questions, okay? Because we have about 20 more minutes, and then we'll get into some more random stuff at the end. And then I'd like to hear your perspective and your answer for some of these questions, because these people, I just love my viewers. So, and we're not going to name any names, so you can always feel free to leave your comments on my website, text me, email me. Y'all know me. It's a small island, girl. I might see you at Foodland after, okay? All right. I moved to Maui for peace and healing, but honestly, I feel anxious and unhappy. Why do people think moving somewhere beautiful will automatically fix them? Well, that is a great question. I feel like a lot of us kind of do that. I feel like everywhere I go, I daydream about living in that place. But taking your problems from one place to another is just taking your problems from one place to another. Would you agree?
Very true. Very, very true. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
A lot of times we come with our problems. So if you aren't acknowledging an issue, then it's going to travel with you. You're going to be affected with it no matter where you are.
That's so true.
Even if you're in the most beautiful place.
Right. I worked with this elderly woman, and she told me, about relationships. And she said, you might have problems in your relationship, and then you want to jump ship and go into another relationship, but you're just taking one set of problems and switching it up for another set of problems. So fix the problems at home before you jump ship. So I think it's the same. Maui is a healing place, though. So many people come here and they're like, no, a lot of people are very drawn here. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that's this person's experience. I'm sorry that they're feeling that way. If you want to come have coffee with me on Saturday, let's do it, boo. And I will make you feel better about being here on Maui. Okay, how about this one? Every time I scroll on social media, I compare my life to someone else on the internet. How do I stop doing that? What do you think about that question?
Oh, that's a very good question.
And it happens to us all.
Yeah, it does. It happens to all of us. Ooh, why couldn't I look that way? Or why am I not able to do this thing that they're able to do?
Yeah.
But looking at what you have in your life and what you're thankful for, and not just around Thanksgiving, is a really good thing to do.
Yeah.
Just in general, look at what's around you. Look at what they have and what they're trying to make you feel like you need.
Yeah,
also, are they selling you something?
Yeah, isn't that true? And then sometimes I feel like unhappy people post really happy things. It's like sometimes like you see that picture of that family that constantly takes portraits, and you're like, are you sure you guys are good? Because I mean, you're just forcing this. We're happy on me. And so you can't always, I don't know. I feel like pre-COVID, celebrities were in this bubble where everybody wanted to be like them, and then COVID kind of changed that, because then we were all like in our houses and no one really cared if Kim Kardashian came out on the road and had like a certain Balenciaga outfit. But I do feel like it's natural. It's like a natural thing that we do. But I feel like I try to stop myself from ever feeling like I need to compare my life to someone else's. I try to stop myself in my tracks when that happens to me.
It reminds me of that one Simpsons episode with the dog where they keep passing like the windows of the houses and looking on the inside, and like, or like the Christmas movie where like everything's perfect in the window and they're like outside in the cold, like shivering. Like that's what I always remember in my head, is that might not necessarily be true. Like that might be a snapshot, or that picture or that video is just a snippet of what you're seeing.
Yeah.
It's not the reality.
Especially TikTok. It's like a 20-second, 30-second video.
Yeah.
And people think they, you know, they're like, oh, I'm so envious of that. I'm like, people are like, oh, your house is so cute. And I'm like, termites, honey. Like, they look cute from over there, girl.
About your roof and stuff.
Okay, how about this question? I feel guilty anytime I rest, because I was raised to always be productive. How do I learn to slow down without feeling lazy? That is such a good question. And I feel like so many of us are guilty of that. I was also raised in a very strict Polish household where women had a job and men had a job. And as a stay-at-home wife even, I tend to try not to be like laying around too much, because I feel like I feel guilty for that. My husband wouldn't be mad at me for doing that, but I feel a sense of guilt for not being constantly productive.
You know, I understand that completely. And my heart goes out to this user because, and I'm going to say something, this is not a direct quote from me, but this is a quote that I've heard and I can't remember where it's from, but rest is a gift you give yourself.
Oh, I like that. Rest is a gift that you give yourself.
And it's part of self-care. It's a huge part of self-care, is realizing that you right now are tired. Look at how many things you've done today. Sit down.
Yeah. I felt like that was me yesterday. You know? I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, and I felt really restless in the night, and then I just had to be like, calm down, it's fine, you didn't get it done.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. So don't feel guilty.
The anxiety that you're never doing enough.
Yeah.
That's what that is. It's like,
I also have
anxiety
ADHD
that you're never doing.
Yeah. I have ADHD, so if I have too much clutter around or whatever, I get like really stressed out and agitated. So I like structure. I like the same thing every day, and so I can't sit down at night unless everything is done. To like watch
my father
TV.
was like that.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Okay, living
and
in
he only did it around the dinner table.
Oh, isn't that true? Huh? Shucks. Okay, how about this one? Oh, we have so many. I don't even know if we can get through them all. But then we're going to talk about some other random stuff towards the end. Okay. My husband says I overreact emotionally, but I honestly don't notice when I'm doing it. How can someone become more aware of their emotional triggers? Girl, if you're married, I feel like you know your triggers. Like my love language is acts of service. My husband's love language is touchy, 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 kissy, kissy, kissy.
I'm a touch person, but I think to answer that question for that lady or that person who's asking this question, it's hard when you think you're the only one who's having an emotional reaction.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's why you're having such a big emotional reaction, because whatever you need, you're not getting from your partner in action or in word or in like emotion.
Yeah. I think men, they communicate so differently than women.
Yeah,
they're very,
they do.
Black and white when it comes to answering questions, where we're more emotional people. So I don't know. I feel like husbands should know our emotional triggers. Like they know, like my husband knows what's going to set me off and what's not going to set me off. But I think we all have to practice just dialing back and sometimes just walking away. I'm learning how to do that now, but I've been married for 25 years. You know, you can't always walk away, but you're constantly learning that. So I hope that you're not too over emotional with your husband, but maybe he shouldn't trigger you and talk about
Yeah.
his fishing trip that he's going to take by himself with 3 friends. Like, you know, I mean, some things like, it's always for me is like house stuff. Like my husband, I will get completely over triggered if my husband, like, I just want him to say, okay, we'll work on that. We'll fix that. But instead he's like, oh, and then that sets me off. So
Okay. So that's an emotional conversation and a practical conversation that you're talking about there.
Yeah.
So you might be for this commenter, you might be having 2 very different conversations. And that's why you feel like you're never going anywhere and you get this heightened emotional response. Because you're having an emotional conversation with your husband before a practical one that you may need. But they're starting with a practical conversation when you need an emotional conversation and you're getting frustrated.
Yeah, that is so true. Oh my God, it's so hard. It is really hard to be in a relationship, though.
It's very difficult.
And there are going to be times where you're over emotional or you get triggered. I mean, it's a part. It's a part of life. I think also a lot of younger couples, they jump ship the first bad thing that happens.
Oh, so fast.
And order to really make it, the long stretches to be able to work through those things. So I just typically in that situation when I'm being overly emotional, I just move rooms. My husband wants to always be in the same room with me, so he feels very offended if I'll go in the room, he'll come in the room, and then if I go in the living room, he'll go, "Why are you leaving me?" And I'm like, "I'm not leaving you. I'm just changing scenery so then I can feel emotionally regulate myself." Okay, let's do another one. I started journaling and it's making me realize how much anxiety I actually carry every day. Wow, girl, that's all of us. Is that normal when you first start becoming self-aware? Oh, yes. I feel like yes, right? It is very much so when you start to become aware of that. And I do feel like journaling will, I mean, you're thinking back to those moments, right? I haven't always been really easy to be a friend with or to have as a family member, but I think that journaling will be good though. I don't think that you should stop journaling in that aspect. What do you say to that?
I say it's similar. So it's a very good thing that you're doing that. And of course you're going to notice more of your anxieties once you write them down.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're on paper and they're in front of you. Also, there's so much of this life that makes us anxious, especially the future. Like the future and anything, like just put all of us are constantly anxious about the future, right? Because we can't predict it and we don't know.
Yeah.
And that inherently makes us anxious. So if you are noticing that you are far more anxious, that's okay. Breathe into it. Really, breathe into it. Something you can try is called diaphragmatic breathing, which is where you breathe in from your belly instead of your chest. Because if you're anxious, like me, if you have anxiety, you will breathe through your chest, which is not helpful. But if you're breathing through your stomach right here, it's sending signals to your brain to calm down. So diaphragmatic breathing.
That is a good piece of advice. You are a beacon of information, girly girl.
Thank you.
You would never know that you ever had anxiety or you were ever not self-aware or you were ever not mindful because you were just you're always just so wonderful. I love that. I love that. Breathing exercises are huge. Do it. You will feel better. Let's take one more or two more questions and then we'll move topics and we'll just finish up this show because we literally have 10 minutes. If you're just locked into 88.5 FM KAKU, the voice of Maui. Hi, I'm Allie B and this is Talkative Radio. We do this show every week, every Thursday. And so we're happy to have you aboard our plane today. We're talking about self-awareness, mindfulness. We're taking your viewer questions and we're just, the older that we get, we become more self-aware of our surroundings and our communications with people. And so I thought it would be a good topic to kind of dip into. And I'm really glad that I had Carly here because she really hones me in. I feel like we're really good together actually, because I'm a little chaotic and you're a little less chaotic and you're like the calm one.
I am pretty calm.
You are a calm girl.
It's weird because it took me a really long time to realize that.
Really? No. I knew that as soon as I met you. I was like, oh, I like this girl. She can hold me in. Okay, how about this one? This one is a good one. I read this one last night and I was like, oh, girl, I can resonate with this question. I work in hospitality and spend all day smiling and being nice. But I'm emotionally drained by the end of the the day? Is people pleasing connected to self-awareness? Ah, yes, so much. And I feel like I am so you because I have to turn on first thing in the morning for 72 people and hi, good morning, and how are you doing? And that. And even working with elderly people over the last 10 years, I was a beautician with elderly people on South Maui. And it took a lot of me to be that up high and happy all day. And I feel like I kind of did crash and burn at the end of the day. But I think that having that self-awareness that that's happening is also showing growth, that you know that you are in this position where you're constantly having to smile and to be nice to people, and that it does drain you at the end of the day, right? I don't know if you work in, what type of work did you do prior? Like, did you have to ever work in customer service?
Oh, I have 12 years in customer service.
Whew, girl, it's a hard one.
Yes, it's very difficult. It's one of the ways that I learned how to control my voice and my temperament, because on the other end of the line, you never know what you're going to get. And that's just the same for someone like that who's in a caretaker position. When you walk into that room, when you're doing your job, especially if it's a new person, or if it's someone you maybe don't know what their mood's going to be that day.
Yeah. And
right? You don't know at all.
Yeah, and people pleasing, I feel like I'm definitely guilty of people pleasing all the time. I'm constantly trying to please everybody in my life, and then sometimes
I'm a former one.
Yeah, I forget that I need to please myself. So it's like, like it's okay.
Yeah,
it's like dial back, girl.
Same thing with the lady who was talking about being anxious when she sat down. It's similar to this. You're emotionally taking care of yourself if you are acknowledging the fact that, oh, this is draining for me. But when you get out of that job, what I want you to do is I want you to do something that's something you love, or something that makes you feel good. Like go eat candy if that's something that's helpful to you. Let it sit in your mouth, sit there, close your eyes and feel it and taste it. Let yourself be happy in that moment. And then maybe it'll give you energy to go to something else. I mean, there's a bunch of other things that you could do. Watch a show that you want or whatever. But going from something that's hard to something that's easy and relaxing for yourself is the way that you are able to continuously do that thing. It's a very difficult job, though. So thank you for doing that job, though.
Yeah. Your safety bubble at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like I like to call it my safety bubble. I agree
something
with
called
that.
DINs and SIMs. But yeah, there's something called DINs and SIMs, which is danger in me and then safety in me. And so look for a safety in me. And usually you bookend those kinds of things. So like if you have a danger, if you're, doing a job like this that's very emotionally draining, make sure that before you go in, you take a hot shower and you massage your things, or you make a meal for yourself that is absolutely delicious and that you don't care about. Or that you don't worry about or whatever. It's satisfying. Then you go into work and you do those things. Then you come home and you take care of yourself again in another way. That's how emotionally you will, it's hard when though you have a family and you constantly have people who are asking for your attention. So just remember, self-care is so important.
Yeah. I like to start my self-care at 7:30 every night. I take my bra off and I sit down and I watch my favorite shows. And I feel like I told my husband last night, every time I take the bra off, everybody needs me at that moment so much more. And I completely become just totally over. And literally my kids are so quiet. They homeschool and they work. And then it's 7:30. Everyone wants to come and talk to me and make a snack and and it's like, oh, I can't. I'm trying to take care of myself, guys. Like, be for real.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard though when you have people in your life who you love who also take some of your time when you need to self-care. Yeah. So maybe sometimes finding a way that you can self-care while still being with those people.
Yeah.
Bra off and all, because boy, do I love a bra off.
I think
that's my favorite.
We all love a bra off. If you've enjoyed this conversation that me and Carly B have been having today, feel free to leave us a comment at talkativeradio.com or go ahead and email me, text me, whatever it is. And also check out the article from Greater Good Magazine, How Self-Awareness Makes Every Habit Easier. It's a really good read, and I hope that you're more self-aware after we had this conversation. I know I learned a lot. I wasn't, I used to call it hokey pokey, all this type of stuff. I was like, oh, I don't have time for it. But I mean, the older that I get, the more I do realize we are going through so many changes in life, and we do need to be mindful to ourselves, but self-aware of our surroundings and how we are interacting with the people that we're interacting with every single day. Carly, I love you so much. Let's talk a little bit about her. I met her on TikTok. And I just gravitated towards her instantly. I just love how she interacts with people, and I just love all the facets of her personality. And so I'm so glad that I was able to have you on the show and that we could talk. And I think we should do this more often. I think that this was really fun. And how can my viewers find you? Where can they find you? What is your handles?
So I am Dancing Dragon in the Rain.
Okay.
On TikTok. And on YouTube as well. There's no spaces. Dancing Dragon in the Rain.
Dancing Dragon in the Rain.
I am also available, if you like my voice, to hire me for projects on Fiverr, and it's Carly B Voice as well. And honestly, this whole journey has been amazing for me. I really love Allie. She and I connected a while ago and have been just talking and vibing. And it is a privilege to be here. So, of course, I would come back on.
Oh, gosh, I love you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, and we've talked about this a lot on my show in the past. When I was a young woman, I was really struggling. There was a part of my life where I didn't have a place for me and my daughter. And I would see all these women, business owners, and, they would own these like boutiques. And I would say, oh my God, what's your secret for success? And they would turn their nose up to me. So I always said when I was in a better position in life, I would be the friend to other people that I really needed when I was younger. So when Carly and I started talking, I just hugged her like she's my daughter, and I just love her so much. And she's so wise beyond her years. You would never think that this girl is in her early 30s, okay? But she's a smart one. She's a smart one, and I love that. So I'm so glad that we got to do this today. What else do we want to talk about? Any books you're reading right now? Are you reading anything good?
I'm writing.
You're writing a book.
I'm not really reading right now. I might. Okay, so one of the things that I do with you guys on my lives is sometimes I will start reading stories, and I'm planning on doing The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is a very fun sci-fi read. There's a bunch of books. There's also a movie of the first book, which is actually pretty good. So check that out if you like novels and books. So. Yeah.
Oh, that's really great. Check that out. And don't forget to not sleep on your local library, you guys. I know in this economy, we can't always afford to go out and purchase things, but if you get a library card for $10, you can go to the library, and there's tons of wonderful things that you can read. So there's that. What's tonight? Tonight is Thursday. Any good TV shows coming out tonight? I had a list. I don't know what happened to it.
Colbert's show is the last late show is on tonight.
That's right. The Colbert show, the last show. I don't know how I feel about that whole situation about him, about the network dropping his show, because it was so widely watched. It just makes no sense. And even when they canceled Jimmy Kimmel for like a week and a half after he said I think he said something about Melania. I'm not even sure what it was. And then they brought him back. I don't know. I don't want politics in my television. Keep things the way they were. I love that show. So check that show out. And I'm watching 90 Day Fiance. All the 90 Day Fiancés are on. So if you haven't checked out before the 90 days, after the 90 days, but girl, don't take 90 days. Stop going to, if you can't find a man here, honey, why are we going to Nigeria? You really thought you was going to find your man in Nigeria? Be for real. Go to christianmingle.com or date a farmer. I feel like dating a farmer, this show has actually been really, really good this season. So I've been enjoying it.
Oh, you told me about that.
Yeah, and they're actually like nice, and they're like rich and nice and wholesome and cute, and they wear cowboy hats. So I mean, how could you hate that? Thank you for joining me today, Carly. If you are just listening and you want to catch up on this episode, don't forget to download Maui Stream app, and you can watch this episode and so many other episodes we do here at the network any time of the day that you choose. Until next Thursday at 3 p.m., I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay out of trouble, be mindful, be self-aware, and I will see you next Thursday.
Did that really mean
Bye.
News move fast, but we moving slow. Smiling through the static, cause we already know. They turn up the talk, turn up the talk, turn up the talk.
Telling my girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard.
But Mom's early detection gave us time to make a plan.
Talk to your family about